I've been looking for a deck to play in Explorer, a control deck to play in Explorer, and the problem that I've been running into is that the format is just really, really skewed towards aggro decks that attack on a very difficult to interact with basis. So you have like Winota and Greasefang. Hey, okay, good to see you. You have decks like Winota and Greasefang that get on the board early, but even dealing with those early creatures isn't always the easiest thing. That doesn't always work, right? You need to be able to interact with graveyards. You need to be able to interact with humans just popping onto the field from the deck. And that's not something that traditionally blue-white has been great at doing. We've usually relied on a suite of sorcery speed board wipes to accumulate card advantage that deal with us losing ground in the early game. But that's not really possible in Explorer, so I haven't found a deck until now that I think does that well. And the price we pay to keep up in the early game is kind of extreme. So you see that we're running 4 copies of Portable Hole. You just need to be able to keep the Llanowar Elves off the board. You need to be able to keep all of the little creatures that attack to enable Winota off the board. We have 4 copies of March of Otherworldly Light because you just sometimes need a 1 mana instant speed removal spell, even a card disadvantage to be able to deal with things like Greasefang. Fateful Absence, you're still giving the opponent card advantage in the form of the clue, but sometimes you just need to slow them down. And the only way that plan works is if you can go from taking card disadvantage in the early game to making up card advantage in the late game. And in order to do that, we have our normal suite of Planeswalkers. We have 2 copies of Narset, we have 4 copies of Teferi, and 4 copies of Memory Deluge. Not to mention the 4 mana board wipes and the 2 6 mana board wipes left in the deck. So we need to keep them off the board, keep us from just losing the game by turn 4, and then cleaning everything up and accumulating card advantage slowly from there on. Obviously, Yorion pretty good at accumulating that card advantage. He himself is a free card for just 3 mana at a later point in the game. He recurs 4 copies of Omen of the Sea, which can be multiple cards as long as you live to the late game. So this is all about living to the late game. We have 3 copies of Aethergust to deal with your things like your collected companies, your troublesome green permanents. Winota herself gets hit by Aethergust, of course. We've got a lot of Dovin's Vetoes, Mystical Disputes, and that kind of thing for the mirror match. And we have 2 copies of Settle the Wreckage as an instant speed board wipe as well that opponents still play around pretty effectively, but at least it's something. As long as you have that up, you won't die to combat damage. It's at least a fog. And 2 copies of Rest in Peace to deal with the graveyard side of things. So we're going to jump into a 5-match league in Explorer, and we'll see how the deck does. Okay, so we have the Jwari Disruption on 2, which is much worse on the draw than it is on the play. We have Shadow of the Sky. Shark Typhoon at least slows the game down a little bit. I've sort of given up on hard casting this or making big sharks. I think you just need to cycle this to stay alive a lot of the time in this format, especially when you're on the draw. But we'll keep this and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so our plan is already foiled, essentially. If this is Mardu Greasefang, then we are just in some trouble. They take Shark Typhoon. That's interesting, right? So taking Shark Typhoon, what does that tell us about their hand? Not too much, frankly. Means they're not afraid of Jwari Disruption. They think they can play around it. Oh, I see. This is the this is like the Jund Power and Toughness deck. So it's gonna have like Rotting Regisaur, and then it's gonna have the 3 mana enchantment that if you get a 7 power creature, you get to cast a spell for free. Obviously, they're gonna play around Jwari Disruption here, but at least we can make it inconvenient on them. They also don't know that we've drawn a Ganja yet. Found Fateful Absence. That's not the worst. Probably as good a time as any to get the Castle Vantress down. Yeah. We'll take 1 more bop from the underdog and then kill it if they don't give us anything to Jwari Disrupt. Graveyard Trespasser. Interesting. So that probably just means that we're going to Shatter the Sky this board, right? They hit the Shark Typhoon, that's fine. So this obviously isn't the best, right? Like we're going to Shatter the Sky. They're not going to draw a card, which is good. But they are going to be able to recur the underdog from the graveyard. We find Teferi. If they do flash back the underdog with Blitz, then that means we will get to cast Teferi onto an empty board with Fateful Absence available. So this is not like the worst. They did play into this board wipe, so obviously something is up. But yeah, if they blitz this back and they don't have Thoughtseize back up, then I think we're okay. Why do I talk? Yeah. Okay, well, we can still rip it off the top, right? Shark Typhoon. I mean, I guess. I don't really want a Fateful Absence, a Tenacious Underdog coming back from the graveyard, so I guess we're just saying go. It does go to Knight, that's inconvenient. They do blitz it back. And am I going to... How am I going to kill this? Do I even want to? I think the answer is no, actually. I think I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to make the 3/3 Shark. And this way, if we have a Planeswalker, then we have the 3/3 Shark around to block the Tenacious Underdog. If it wants to attack a Planeswalker instead. Of course, we do not find Planeswalkers, we just flood. So that's annoying. They're just going to keep blitzing this back until the cows come home, right? It's annoying. Guess we're saying go. Obviously, hitting the underdog with the Fateful Absence is the worst feeling in the world. It gives them 2 cards. So we would rather not do that. We'd rather just get the Yorion in play. Fable. Okay. And Blood Tithe Harvester. Playing expertly around Jwari Disruption. It's a lot easier when you know it's there, of course. Are we killing something? Probably. I think I want to kill this too. I don't want to give them the ramp. I want to be able to... If we draw untapped land, we can play Yorion and hold up a Ganja. That's not meant to be. Yeah, that's annoying. I think we're just playing Yorion as a blocker. I think that's the world we live in right now. We have to take the veto shields down to do it, but... we are kind of at 8, so... Bins 2 lands. Okay, so they were flooding a little bit. We gave them a ton of free draws with the underdog, so that's probably the best case scenario. But we are in deep trouble should the Yorion die. Yeah, that's a problem too. So Farewell, probably the best draw on the deck. Farewell, still probably the best draw on the deck. I don't think so. We don't find Farewell. We do find Wandering Emperor. So with Wandering Emperor, we're at effective 8. We're taking 3, 5, 6, 8 next turn. Yeah, this kind of sucks. But I don't think we can allow the Obnixilis to stick around. So we need like Wandering Emperor plus Fateful Absence to kill something, probably. Killing the copy really sucks, but I also would rather kill the copy than the one that can't minus. Yeah, okay. And we just need to find, we need to find Farewell. I don't think there's anything else for it. That's also a serious problem. Now even Farewell isn't great. I guess we kind of had to kill the token of Nixilis last turn, otherwise the Chariot would be able to copy it. We're probably just killing the Chariot on sight now. Yeah, this is pretty awful. 3, 4, 7. So that thing's finally exiled. We go to 4. And again, we just need Farewell. I think a Garden Variety board wipe might be okay too. We get a redraw. Nice. Okay, so if we make a 2/2, we block, take 3. No, take 4, because we have to block the 1. I guess we're not dead. Yeah. I guess we're not dead. We are dead to removal. No, we're dead to the Kiki Jiki. So we need to, like, deluge and find, like, portable hole, I guess. We found it. We'll deal 2 if we don't. Discard Farewell if we do that. Okay, so we can take 1 here, I guess. Block. Yeah, I think we need to actually discard the Farewell. And try to find another. No, we can't find another, because it costs 3 for the Omen. This sucks. Just a little bit too slow. It's kind of been my experience with blue-white control in this format, just generally. Oh, and we're just dead anyway, because they found removal. Okay, so we're dead. So against Jund stuff. Don't think I'm interested in Rest in Peace. I do want these Ether Gusts. Feel like the vetoes aren't very good. Farewell seems like one of the best cards. One more cut, eh? Probably don't need all these sweepers. Also, Shark Typhoon just seems kind of medium. Am I interested in... Maybe I want Fateful Absence and cut 2 sharks. Don't think I want Settle the Wreckage either. Honestly, the truth is that we probably win that game if they don't have the Thoughtseize to back up the blitzed underdog. That took our Teferi that turn. We land that Teferi, then we probably win. Especially because we had the kill spell backing it up. Yeah, I don't think Rest in Peace is good enough. Alright, we'll try this. This hand is super slow. I think keeping this hand is probably a recipe for disaster. We're 4 lands away from getting to cast this Farewell. We'll probably miss a land drop between here and there. Oh, man. Okay. I guess we're putting back Gust, and we're on a mull to 5. We kind of need everything to go right. So that's probably, everything going right is probably just Teferi. We'll lead with the Jwari Disruption tapped on 1. And just hope we get there. But obviously we're a huge dog now. Mull to 5 against Thoughtseize, what are you going to do? They take Teferi, which is actually a good thing. Because if they took March, then you could be pretty confident that they had another Thoughtseize, and we'd be in trouble. Yeah, we can just exile that. I think I want to do it now before they have a chance to sack it to Obnixilis. Yep, we're just gonna hit our land drop here as best we can. Yeah, truth be told, those are probably the cards we want. Shocked in the Stomping Ground said go, did nothing. Interesting. Okay, so Shatter's pretty bad against Chandra. At least they hit another one to exile. Yeah, we need to be attacking that Chandra, right? So that means we have to flash in the Emperor and hope we get through. Could also Deluge trying to find a Fateful Absence. Maybe that's better. Yeah, it seems unlikely that the 2/2 from the Wandering Emperor is going to get through, right? I guess we could minus the Wandering Emperor plus to give it first strike. Probably. If they have, like, Fatal Push or something, then this is pretty bad as well. They could have, like, Noxious Grasp. Riveteer's Charm. Okay. Yeah, so we can try to find land portable hole here, I guess. See if we can hit Chandra that way. Instead, we find 4 lands. It's probably these. And now Chandra's on 7, so we can at least bounce her with Otawara, I suppose. The sad thing is, like, this feels like one of their more medium draws. Like, we just mulled to 5 and we couldn't do anything. I guess we can Teferi minus on Chandra. He feels pretty dead to me, but at least it's a guaranteed way to deal with her. Okay, okay. It's a good one. Probably should have waited to cycle until after the Teferi ability resolved, right? Because then they'd be one step closer to Chandra. Maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah. All right. We find untapped land off this Teferi, then we have Otawara up to deal with the Chandra. Or even the 2/2, I suppose. Find depopulate. Morning, Domo. How are you? So do we want to hold this Otawara or do we want to say go? I think we hold it because if they attack us with the 2/2, then we won't have any means to deal with the Chandra because Teferi will be too low. I don't want to give him up. I suppose at least this way we represent Absorb, but there's no way in hell they're not just casting Chandra here, right? Yep. It's a Chandra. Glad you're doing well. Sure. Okay. So we have effectively 8 mana here, which is enough to wipe the board and bounce Chandra. So at least there's that. Alternatively, we can wipe the board, cycle in a Shark on end step, and try to attack Chandra. How big a Shark would we get in that case? We'd get a 2/2. If we play Otawara as a land instead, then we get a 3/3. Chandra will kill it. Kiki-Jiki is here, so maybe I want to wait another turn before wiping the board. We can Narset. No, I want to keep Teferi alive is the problem. So I guess we're casting the Shatter. And I guess on end step is when I want to bounce the Chandra. So we just say go. Because if I bounce Chandra to hand, they're just going to replay it right away, right? What was that? Oh dear. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's really not good. Jeez. That was a pretty good hit. So I guess... We can auto-wire back our own Teferi. Maybe that's the play. To fizzle this so we keep the Omen as well. Okay. Is that card good? The Inferno? I think this probably came in the sideboard for us, like specifically because we have enchantments and shit. But I think the answer is no. No, it's not. So we Teferi, plus we have 3 mana left. Enough for a 1 mana Shark to defend Teferi. Chandra's going to keep dinging us, but maybe that's okay. If they have another creature, then Kiki-Jiki's going to be a significant problem. What's the alternative? We can Narset minus, try to find Fateful Absence. No, I think we just Teferi plus, hope that whatever Kiki-Jiki does doesn't deal with Teferi completely, and then we wipe the board of whatever they play. Found another land, that's pretty good. So now we have a 2/2 Shark that at least trades with Kiki-Jiki, should we decide to do that. I'm probably more interested in finding a Fateful Absence here. So we find Fateful Absence. I don't want to let them tick up on Chandra unnecessarily, right? These are both good, but I think we have all the card advantage we need in Narset already, and we have a Memory Deluge already in the bin. We are 1 mana short of Absorb, and they're empty-handed, so I don't think I actually want it. Let's try to find something better. March is good. We can wait. So depending on what they play, we may march the Kiki-Jiki, we may not. Was this for its blitz cost? I can't tell. I don't think it was. I think that's just on the board now. So let's just get rid of this now. Pretty sure it wasn't blitzed. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's start with Narset, I guess. See if we can dig up an answer to this envoy. We do. And I think that just means we're supposed to shatter here. It gives them a card, which sucks. But if they don't have haste, then maybe we stabilize. And if not, if we draw untapped land, we can at least buy and play Yorion in the same turn. They chose not to loot that away with the blood, so they like what they drew. That's pretty scary. Okay. They might have kept that, I guess. Yeah, I'll pitch the portable hole. It's probably not any good. Alright. Let's start with a plus. They might be keeping up a removal spell if I activate Hall. Chwari Disruption, okay. Deluge is good. Emperor is pretty good too, realistically. Yeah, I'm down for an Emperor, I think. So 8 mana. Let's just buy and play Yorion. I guess maybe flickering Narset here might be a mistake if they have something that lets them draw an extra card. Yeah, just give me lands, and if we find like a veto here, we have like a useless Jwari Disruption in hand. Fateful Absence, okay, and Farewell, great. So let's take those, and on their upkeep, let's Fateful Absence the Ob. And we do this on upkeep just so that if they want to crack the clue, they need to spend the mana on their turn to do it. They can play Chandra here, sure. But she's going to be difficult to defend. Find Fable, okay. So we have a lot of options here. I think we've kind of... Why do we want Farewell? I mean, Farewell deals with all of their, like, graveyard recursion. It deals with their little tiny creatures. Also, we just don't have a lot in the sideboard that we want to bring in to deal with them. Fateful Absence deals with Chandra for good. But so does just Wandering Emperor plus attack with Yorion. It's probably still better than another Teferi, I guess. I guess in terms of sequencing, I should be plussing Teferi first here. Alright, that's fine. And we'll just plus Teferi. Hopefully we find that Absorb. Another Depopulate. Yeah, okay. And I guess this is fine. And we have like a sizable shark here to just throw in front of this 2/2 if they decide to attack our planeswalkers. And we're in a commanding position. See Inferno. I guess? Alright, see you, Yorion. Yeah. I'd rather not cast Fateful Absence on a creature if I don't have to. Wow, they're just going upstairs. What do you suppose that means? I don't think it matters. Oh. I have 7 mana? Sure. We get the scoop. I could have found like Fatal Push. I don't know, what do you think they have? Alright, so there goes to Fairy. Might have been better to keep it. But we have Narset. We have Absorb to deal with anything that the Kiki Jiki might want to copy. I mean, how many portable holes do I need? We plus the Wandering Emperor in the hall. We get them down to 1. We have Absorb for everything else. That seems pretty good. How much does this cost? 6, 7 total. We have 9. Yeah, we can't actually do that and hold up mana. So I guess the safest thing to do here is just minus. Minus, play the Jwari Disruption. Swing, counter whatever they do. And then swing through with the creatures the next turn. Fable. So Portable Hole will deal with the token. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. This has the sad side effect of letting them draw a card on our turn, but any answer needs to be instant speed. I think this is fine. And we have Absorb for anything they draw. And this is just lethal otherwise. 5, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so we just absorb anything they do if they do find something off the clue.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Okay, cool. That's safer than activating the hall and not necessarily having enough mana left. So it seems like they boarded out a bunch of their creatures, right? They just went on the Planeswalker plan, and they just kept the 2-drops that pressure us and cast Ob for free. So maybe we get rid of the Depopulates, keep the Shatters, and bring back the Shark Typhoons? And maybe the Vetoes? I mean, they did show us a lot more in the way of instants and sorceries this game. They probably have like the full playset of Riveteer's Charms. Hey, Christmas, how are you? It's good to see you. We are playing Planeswalkers. I know that you've been having a Planeswalker kind of day yourself. Just caught some of the mono-white Planeswalkers earlier. And I think this is probably okay. Probably. Maybe I don't want any of these. Like, if the Farewell was just our board wipe, and I bring in the Vetoes to deal with the Charms and the whatever they were called, the Inferno cards. All right, we'll try this. We have Removal Spell, we have Omen of the Sea. That's enough for me to keep. Thoughtseize. By the way, that was a mull to 5 last game. Not bad. Our hand is significantly worse if they take Omen here. But they may just take the Removal Spell. So they do take Omen. Life sucks. We have Ether Gust. Yeah, it's not like we're going to be able to march anything. We don't have any white spells in our hand to exile anyway. Tenacious D is here. He's going to get to make an attack. But we are going to get to exile him unless he gets sacrificed to Ob here. If they do play Ob, we have Ether Gust at least. Okay, so we can either let this resolve Gust the token, or we can just Gust this now. I think the answer is I want to Gust this now. Just for the sake of tempo. Because our next turn's play is probably going to be to march this underdog away. I suspect this goes to the top. No, it goes to the bottom. That's probably bad news for us. Let's play, I guess, the Glacial Fortress in case they have like a Field of Ruin. And I think we just do this main phase. They could be running some Sacrifice effect. We know they're running Ob. So we have a Shark Typhoon and a Dream. Bottoming the Fable meant they had something pretty good, right? Another reason we want Farewell. Be able to cleanly deal with... see, that would have been nice earlier. Alright. I think we're just digging for Farewell to the best of our ability now. Trying to stay alive. Are we buying Yorion or not? Like, they're surely powering up Chariot. Maybe they're not. Maybe we scare them into not powering up Chariot here if we hold up mana. Because we are representing Wandering Emperor here, right? They have to be a little scared. If we veto that, then obviously they're not scared at all. But I'm not sure that we can beat it. So I guess we are vetoing it. And we do at least represent Fateful Absence here. So we'll set some stops, but... You know, Jund players don't play around shit. Has been my experience. They just go. Like, you play big, powerful cards, you slam them, and you wait for your opponent to not have an answer. That's what Jund players do. Are we supposed to cycle this for 0 here? I don't think we're that desperate yet. Although... Alright, so it's Farewell or Bust, essentially. We're going to get 2 draws at it. So I think we're supposed to actually cycle this for 1 now in case we find, like, Fateful Absence or something. It's a lot of land. Farewell. 1 time. I'll accept any sweeper, but we did board some out. It would really suck to just lose to a single Chariot. Shock in, cycle Proving Ground, go. Alright. We get 1 more shot. We are dead to removal. They shocked something in, so, like, they have something. Woof, woof, woof. Dog's next door. Find me Farewell. If they want, they get the opportunity to try to dig for lethal here. They choose not to. Yeah, no such luck. Yeah, just super dead. We kept I think an okay hand. Just the turn 1 duress hurt, and I think we've drawn land almost every single turn since, right? Does this save us? No, it doesn't. We'll do it anyway. We can keep up the appearances of having the Wandering Emperor, but, like, they can just play around it and still kill us. Yeah, we drew what? We drew Absorb. We drew Gust. We drew Veto. And we drew Shark. And everything else was land. And, like, none of those were, like, None of those were timely enough to deal with the Chariot. Once the Chariot resolved, it really was just find a way to deal with the entire board all at once. And we're dead. All right. I guess we were also representing Settle the Wreckage there. On the play, this is a lot better than on the draw. Actually, all of these come in tapped. That sucks. They played Obbit anytime we were dead. Yeah. That's true. Turns out all they needed to do was cast a single Chariot, though, and that was good enough. I think this is good enough to keep. I may have some regrets, but we'll see. These fortresses coming in tapped really sucks, but gotta do what you gotta do. Any hand without early removal is like kind of unkeepable in Explorer, just because Greasefang and Winota are so prevalent. If you don't have an immediate answer for their big threats, then it's a turn 3 format. You can just be dead on turn 3. Mull to 5 makes me feel like Greasefang is in our future. Or Trickery. You see Trickery every now and then. Mostly not in best of 3, though. Temple Guard and Llanowar Elves. Yeah, alright. We're gonna put that in the hole. It's possible I'm not supposed to do that. I'm just supposed to Jwari Disrupt whatever they play. But there's always a chance they play nothing. We have an island, so we don't have to worry about this Glacial Fortress anymore. There's no way you keep this hand on the strength of a Llanowar Elf and not have a 3-drop, right? So I don't think we put Yori into hand. I think we just say go and Jwari Disrupt whatever their 3-drop is. Next turn, we have Iganjo available. Alright. Okay, so they have 5 mana next turn and conspicuously have Coco available. It's probably also just Winota, right? Yeah. I guess we're playing the castle tapped. Saying go. If they play Winota here, we can Jwari Disrupt it, forcing them to tap the Llanowar Elves, so they don't get a trigger, and then we can play Teferi and minus away Winota. That's an option. I don't think we can allow the attack here, so I think this is forced. Find Veto, which sucks. And I guess that we're just trading Teferi for Winota here, in the hopes of finding an answer. We can also plus if we're feeling very greedy and try to find like Fateful Absence or something, but that seems like pie in the sky. So we're just gonna have to allow Teferi to die here. Winota's really good. We kept a hand that was able to deal with their early board. We were able to parry their early threats, but we know Winota is coming. And the veto looks laughably bad. Okay. I would rather not tap the castle. We can either buy Yorion, or we can hold up castle activation. What's better? Frankly, it's probably buying Yorion. Holding up Veto. I can't imagine what spell they might have here, but... nothing. Okay. Do they have any flash in this deck? Does not look like it. By Teferi plus I have Iganjo available for something hasty. Well, let's plus on Teferi first, see what we find. If we can answer this Winota cleanly, then I'm happy. We probably win. Wandering Emperor... We are definitely playing our land in that case. We even get to Yori and flicker the Wandering Emperor next turn. And we can minus the Teferi to get rid of Winota this time. Alright, so Winota minus.
Let your blade do the talking.
Winota minus again.
Guards, to me.
We're just going to send her back. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, against Winota, probably want the settles. The gusts seem good. Instant speed removal seems good. Board wipes are probably pretty good. The vetoes don't seem great. Farewell seems awfully slow. I think I'm fine getting rid of those. 2 more cuts. It's probably the sharks, honestly. This isn't bad. As 7-card hands go against Winota, it's pretty good. The problem, of course, is that we are on the draw, but no amount of mulliganing is going to fix that. If they have the nut draw on the play, then what are you going to do? Okay. So once again, portable hole. We cannot allow them to turn 3 Winota us with a bunch of crap in play. Just need to buy some time. Alright, well they may get to turn 3 Winota us anyway. Unfortunately, there is not a damn thing we can do about that. Shocks in. Gotta be, right? Oh, it's Paulo. Okay. How do we deal with Paulo here? I think we do have to cast Omen. As much as I don't want to. We need the 4th land to eventually cast the board wipe. We can't win without doing that. So I guess this is it. And if they... So Paulo will probably take the board wipe, I would think. Next turn we can play Narset if we want. If we draw and tap land, I'm going to be a lot more happy to play Narset because it means we're guaranteed to have the Wandering Emperor available. If they had Winota, they would have gone for it, right? So this suggests to me that they don't have it in hand. Fairy is not great. Yeah. I think we need to cast Narset here. Just hope they don't actually have the Winota in hand. March is good. March is a Winota answer if we untap. So this is their window. Okay. Interesting. Is that good for them?
This was overwhelming.
I'm not convinced. So we're definitely playing this tapped. We drew Shatter, which at the moment is just a clean answer. It doesn't draw them a card. You have to imagine that if they had Winota at any point so far, they would have played it. So I don't think they do have it, which tempts me sorely to buy Yori in here. To be able to flicker the Omen of the Sea. It does take the shields down on the march. I guess there's no real reason to do that, right? Like, next turn we are casting Shatter this guy. Okay. I guess we just say go. I was sorely tempted to buy the Orion, but I don't think we have to. And March's job is just to deal with a Winota if they play it. If they play some other random creature, other than, I suppose, Thalia, then I guess we're just going to untap and kill everything. So if they don't have Winota at this point, you have to imagine that one of these cards is like Tovolar's Huntmaster or something. We are working our way towards depopulate. So we, you know, as long as we keep drawing our lands, we'll be okay. Interesting. So this is 3, 5, 6, 12 damage, but we get to Wrath the board. Okay. This hurts. Right, 2, 5, 6, 12. Sure. I'd love to just draw untapped white specifically. We don't. We find Absorb. I forgot how loud Shattered this guy was. They did burn their treasure to do that. That was kind of an all-in play from them. And there's Llanowar Elves. Okay. We don't find land. We do find Settle the Wreckage, though. So I think the plan here is just going to be take 2, hold up Absorb. If they don't cast anything worth absorbing, then we'll just cast the Wandering Emperor. I would love to have time to cast this Memory Deluge, just don't think that we do. And we have Settled the Wreckage, so, like, not much bad can really happen to us. As long as we, you know, keep our life total high. Docking in here, I wonder what that is. This Coco doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a Winota deck. Okay. There was no stick there.
I'm not overconfident. You're just underwhelming.
Do we make a token here, or do we just kill the elf? I think given that we have Settled the Wreckage... Maybe this is greedy, but I think I want the token. We found land.
Do the talking. May your blade strike.
I would love to play Teferi, have Absorb available, but that's obviously not possible. Yeah, let's just play this on white, and we have March to deal with a Winota cleanly. We'll just say go. We have Memory Deluge on their end step if they don't have anything. I wonder what this shock was. It's just a bluff, I have to imagine. Maybe there's a world where they have like Bone Crusher Giant and I need to be more careful about my life total being at 4. It does feel like we have them stuffed. Skyclave Apparition will hit... I don't know. I assume it hits the Wandering Emperor? I don't think there's anything here that I'm married to. They can hit the portable hole and get another Llanowar Elf. I think that's fine. Yeah, they hit the Wandering Emperor. That's acceptable.
Our swords will cross again.
Okay, Memory Deluge. Portable hole, meh. Land drop, nice. Memory Deluge, nice. And we can Teferi plus and have Absorb available. That feels great. So the only thing we fear really is Winota. I guess also Blade Historian, but in either case, we have Absorb for that. We attacking? They trade here, we get a token. Anything else? Alright, I'll attack. Okay. Archon. I think that's worth an Absorb. Because it's a flyer that we don't have a great answer to. We have Settle, I guess. There's Teferi, there's another Absorb, Life is Wonderful. Opponent's dead, they just don't know it. Should we let them know? This lets them know too. I guess I should have attacked. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. But they didn't find Winota at all in game 2 there. It was looking a little scary with the whole on the draw situation. Being on the draw and Explorer is bad for your health. On the play with a awkward opening hand. Like a really awkward opening hand. I think we keep. But I'm not in love. Field of Ruin not casting Absorb really hurts. Thoughtseize? Sure is. Yeah. So they take the Omen. I guess that means we're playing Castle. Grixis. Okay. So we can either buy Yorion here, or we can crack the Field of Ruin to fix our colors, and I think the choice is clear. Do I do this now? I don't think so. I want to keep Fateful Absence available. It is awkward if I Field of Ruin, because it may ramp them into being able to cast a Memory Deluge. But, you know, we need Absorb available. Also, these Grixis decks might not be running a ton of basics. This could just be a Stone Rain. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Let's get our second blue source in case we draw another Absorb off the top. No such luck, but we do find Shark Typhoon. Pretty good card against Grixis discard hand hate stuff. Narset, okay. Feel like Grixis Control is probably a bad matchup for us. Like, traditionally, Grixis Control is good against Control and, like, nothing else. We did find Absorb, and another Shark Typhoon, so in the absence of land, that's not so bad. I don't want to cast Fateful Absence on the Narset. I would really like to not give them the card. I'm tempted to just absorb this Expressive Iteration if they play it. I feel like it's pretty likely they have something like Negate. Or Fatal Push. I think we're just going to let it resolve. Cycle another Shark. Two of these Sharks are both lethal threats for Narset. Seems likely in game one, at least, that they have some number of removal spells. Or board wipes. So we can absorb that, or we can just make another Shark. Both of them result in basically the same thing, except one of us... In one case we have Absorb, in one case we have a random card. And I think I'd rather have Absorb than the random card. Also, Shark Typhoon draws us towards our land drop. Grixis the enemy, indeed. We are in tough, I think, against Grixis, but we're going to try. We just can't find land. But we do have Wandering Emperor. And all of their stuff, more or less, is 1-for-1. And we have Wandering Emperor is a 2-for-1 in hand. Memory Deluge is a 2-for-1 in hand. I think we just let this go. I really, really badly want to cast Memory Deluge on end step. Because we just need to hit our land drops. In the Control Mirror, there's not much more important than hitting your land drops. Missing this one sucked. Thoughtseize, I think, is going to force our hand here. Okay. There's no world where they don't Thoughtseize us here, right? But they're tapped out. I think this means I'm supposed to cast Wandering Emperor and just start putting pressure on them, because either way the Absorb is going to be gone. We'll see what they take. I have to imagine it's Absorb. Yeah. We did find land. I don't think I want to play into a board wipe that I'm reasonably sure that they have. So I think I would rather just plus. We'll play the land tapped and hold up Deluge. You cast Deluge now, I guess. I think it's pretty likely that they have, like, Bolus Dragon God, although they don't have the third black to cast it yet. Fable's fine. We have the portable hold to deal with the token. Let's see. You got a counterspell? You don't, but I kind of do. Could also just take land to fairy, shock in, have portable hole, and then also have Fateful Absence available. That feels really good. Actually, there's not even any need to shock. I can just take this. All right. I think I like that. Oh, that's real good too. Okay. So start, I guess, with Teferi. See if they have a counterspell. Get the plus in while we can. Just in case they have, like, a Noxious Grasp or something. I think, again, I want to... Now that Wandering Emperor's on 2 and we can instantly minus it again next turn, we can play around a board wipe that way. So here we're just going to hit the 2/2. Swing for 5. They go to 2. That's fine. And now we have Fateful Absence available for like any Planeswalker. They are at 5. Again, can't be stressed enough. We have 4 power in play, 5 if you count the Wandering Emperor. So life is feeling kind of okay. It's feeling even better than okay now. Win game 1. So Grixis, pretty much standard Grixis control. Do run Fable. Didn't see any use for the graveyard from them. Gust seems at least reasonable. Veto, obviously. Dispute. Test of Talents. Don't think I want any of the board wipes. We have enough spot removal as it is, I think. March is really good against the tokens. Portable Hole. I probably don't need 8 small thing removal effects. So I can probably trim some of these. The question is what? Hey, Powyux7. Good to see you. How are you doing? We are in the middle of an Explorer Blue-White Control event. I think I'd rather have the instant speed than the sorcery speed, is my logic. But Portable Hole, being able to flicker it with Yorion has some value. Maybe Aether Gust just isn't that great in the matchup. Maybe I'm supposed to only bring in 2. You're just awake. You're just awake. Where are you? Where in the world are you that you are just waking up? Regardless, I'm glad to have you with us. This is a dangerous hand to keep. We do stand a pretty decent chance of just not making our land drops, which is like the cardinal sin in Control Mirrors and in Explorer. But we do have Shark Typhoon to try to dig. We are on the draw. We have 2 disputes, which are excellent in the matchup. We're going to keep this. Nice. Okay, so we're rewarded. Opponent is also on a slow start. We drew pretty well. Does it matter what we put this on? I think it does. I think there is some chance on a future turn I want to double disputes. The more blue we have, the better. And now there's no real need to cast Shark Typhoon or to cycle Shark Typhoon for 0. Let's see, do you have the Fable? No, you don't, but we're definitely going to dispute the Narset. Again, I guess in case they have a land destruction effect, we'll play the Glacial Fortress over the Deserted Beach. And now we might be in the territory where we cycle the Shark just for tempo's sake. But we don't have to. Duress. Alright. We could dispute that. I don't want to. I take Teferi instead of dispute. Okay. Kind of down to counter that. They were on the play this game. Wait, right. They were on the play this game, right? So they've made their land drop this turn. This Expressive Iteration probably just sucks. Sure, you got it. This is just an anticipate. I'm not going to counter an anticipate. If this were a 2-for-1, I'd probably just snap off the dispute. But as an anticipate, I'm just going to. Did it ETB? Oh, I guess you're right. I guess they hadn't played a land. All right. Still might have been correct to hold on to the dispute in this spot. Find Gust. All right. By Yorion, hold up dispute. Makes it easy for them to play around us. Yeah, I guess. We'll just say go. We don't have anything to do with our mana, unfortunately. So we kind of need them to play into us. They do have the 3 black this time for Dragon God. Alright, we find Deluge. That would have been a nice one to have last turn. Am I attacking? They could have their own shark. If they do, we have portable hole. All right. And now we have Deluge plus Dispute. They do have their own shark, but they played around our portable hole. I think this is fine. Portable hole is still going to hit the 3-3 at some point. And our life total doesn't matter a whole awful lot. We also have an uncounterable answer to it in the form of Otawara if we get really desperate. But I don't think we're that desperate. I am concerned about Test of Talents out of the opponent. Grixis gamers seem especially likely to play that card. So casting Deluge into that seems risky. But we're not just doing nothing here. Alright, those are pretty good. I think it's just Veto Narset, right? We can keep the 1-1 back to defend it. Or at least try. We also have the portable hole for the 3-3. Which we can try as our answer if we don't dig up something with Narset that we want to hold on to. Like if we Narset minus and find Absorb, then maybe we don't cast portable hole. Oh, that feels great. Okay. Those are some pretty good Magic cards. It's probably just Omen. So if they cast something we have to counter with Veto, so be it. Otherwise, we have Omen on end step. Fateful Absence is not great in the matchup. Wandering Emperor is good, but Omen of the Sea makes Yorion a threat. It means we hit our land drops. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to do this. And now I think we can relatively consequence-free attack with the 1-1. It's possible they have some, like, Blitz card. I think it's unlikely. I think I am down to cast the Veto on this. Looks like they don't have any counter magic at all. And they just say go. Okay, this is great. So they would have gotten priority if there was a shark there as well. They showed us they didn't have a counter spell. We're just going to slam Teferi. He's going to resolve. We're going to plus him. We're going to find a Field of Ruin, I guess. That's fine. In this case, I think we're just going to not attack with the 1-1, because I have no idea what the hell they have, but... I'm not taking chances. Like, this is a dominant board state. They... Oh, wow. And we have the Field of Ruin as an answer to that as well. This is great. Omen of the Sea. And we win. Okay. I think that's 2-1. Oh no, we're on the draw. But our hand is so good. Alright, we're going to keep this. Okay, so it looks like we're in some sort of mirror. When it's on what's probably a 60 card blue-white control deck, though. So they get a little more consistency, but we get a little more value. And our hand is pretty good against... Oh. Interesting. So if this is like land Greasefang, we're going to have to cast Fateful Absence here. So this is probably like Esper Greasefang then. Sure is. They always have it on turn 3, don't they? And of course, if they have, like, Can't Stay Away, or another Greasefang... Well, I guess Can't Stay Away, we have an answer in the form of Dovin's Veto. But But if they have just another Greasefang, at this point we're out of answers. So this could be one of those what are you going to do kind of games. Soren. Yeah, Soren also brings back Greasefang. Are we done? How many more Greasefang effects do you have? Still more. Oh, you have a counterspell too? Neither of those do it, unfortunately. Although, Depopulate does hit the board that they create with the Parhelion. It bounces Parhelion to their hand, but they won't be able to replay it. So we're going to take... How much damage is this? I always forget. 5, 9, 13 damage. We go to 7. Depopulate. And then the Parhelion isn't in the graveyard either. The alternative is like go one card deeper and hope we find an actual answer. I think we're taking this Depopulate. And it's going to suck. Because they're going to get to draw a card off of it. But I mean, they had 3 Greasefangs effectively in their opening hands. This is what I'm saying. Like, the consistency of this deck is just insane. We had 2 answers, and it just wasn't enough. So we go to 7. If they have a counterspell, we are dead. Portable Hold doesn't really matter, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, they can't stay away. But the Parhelion isn't in the graveyard, so as long as they can't put another one in the bin... Oh, but they can with the Faithful Mending. Yes, we're just dead. This is a stupid fucking deck. Like, they're just... What are you supposed to do? I guess we want more instant speed removal. I'll take Rest in Peace. Settle seems okay. Farewell is okay if we ever get there. I feel like Portable Hole's not very good. Yeah. Maybe I just need to play, like, super defensively. Maybe I trim a Teferi and a Shark and just bring in the vetoes. Test of Talents is also, like, reasonable to deal with. The Can't Stay Away. It's kind of a 2-for-1, but it's also just kind of weak. Do I ever want to draw it instead of one of these Planeswalkers? If so, how often? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just going to say that that's too narrow. I need to make one more cut. I think I just really want to play at instant speed. Maybe Narset is too slow. Honestly, like, these board wipes don't seem super great either. I just cut these board wipes and bring in the test. Alright, we'll try this. I'm not, like, thrilled. This is a matchup that I strongly dislike. I'm not even convinced that it's, like, a terrible matchup. Just that it's no fun. Like, it feels like either they have a hand that beats your hand or they don't, and there's not a whole lot of maneuvering involved. I don't think we can keep this, unfortunately. We just need to have answers, and there's an answer. So as long as we don't have Thoughtseize coming our way. So we'll keep this. And I think the putback is veto. Because if they take the Rest in Peace, we're in deep shit anyway. But if they don't, then most of their instants and sorceries are just to bring stuff back from the graveyard anyway, and Rest in Peace turns that off. So I think that means we're supposed to put Veto back, and then these other 3 cards are pretty good at dealing with their fair game plan. So just don't Thoughtseize me, I guess is what I'm saying. That looks like Thoughtseize. Fuck off. This game's just too easy. Uh-huh. I mean, we're just digging for another answer. It looks like they have a counterspell too, I think. Shocking that in. Sounds like Dry Disruption. Could be Faithful Mending. It can't be Faithful Mending. They can't cast Faithful Mending off black, so it's something else. Farewell, I guess. Alright. Yeah. So if they put Parhelion in the bin and they have Greasefang, then this game just ends. And there was, I don't think, anything we could have done. Alright. Kinda getting somewhere. Yeah. So Farewell will at least deal with their graveyard, but there's nothing in it yet. Our deck is just, like, too clunky. Sorin. So Sorin at least does play around Farewell. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Let's see what we can scare up with Memory Deluge here while it can't be countered. So land Fateful Absence feels pretty good. It feels like their hand is like full of counter magic, which makes me not want to fairy, but Shark is probably okay too. We know we're going to be able to cast Farewell next turn. If we want. I don't know, this is tough. Kind of want all of these. I think it's Shark. I feel like their hand is full of counter magic. So I don't want to take a big sorcery speed effect and jam into it. But I also don't want to remove a Sorin that does nothing. And give them a clue to try to draw into a better... Alright, well that's fine, I guess. Knock in. Yeah, so they're telling me they have another dispute. So in that case, Fateful Absence might have been better. Casting Farewell on the graveyard when I have 2 Memory Deluges there is also pretty painful. So I think we're just going to cycle this for 0 and see if we can find the Fateful Absence that I should not have put on the bottom. Ooh, Test of Talents. Okay. So they like clearly have a counterspell, right? We're at 18. If they manage to pull off the combo next turn, we are dead because they'll have 13 from Parhelion plus 4 from Greasefang plus 1 from Sorin. can also just jam Yorion, I guess. It's not like he's getting any better. If he gets disputed, then at least they're probably not loading up the graveyard. We can Shatter, that lets them draw a card. That's not super appealing to me. Alright, I'm going to jam Yorion. Like, we can hold up Test and live in fear of, like, Faithful Mending. But, like, then we're just taking 4 return from Greasefang. And we can't sustain that for very long either. So if we draw untapped land, we can farewell everything away, and then if they counterspell, we can have Tested Talents up. Alright. I mean, that's about as good as it could go, right? Like, I would trade a Yorion that wasn't doing very much for that. I still want the untapped land. Don't find it. Instead, we find Veto. Probably supposed to take another bop from the Greasefang. Cast the Memory Deluge, get the value off of it before we're casting Farewell. And in the meantime, we hold up 2 counterspells. They may also just not attack into the Hall of the Storm Giants. But right now, there's not like a huge difference between having a life total of 13 and having a life total of 8. So I think we can take one more hit, is what I'm saying. Alright, so we'll see. Resolves. We find Rest in Peace, actually. That's kind of outstanding. So Rest in Peace plus Narset feels decent. Rest in Peace plus March feels decent. We're taking another 5 next turn, which puts us to 3. I'm not excited about that. It probably is just supposed to jam through the jamming through the Farewell next turn, so it's probably just supposed to be Narset plus untapped land. And hopefully they don't have 2 counterspells. So creatures, graveyards, I think that's it. I guess artifacts in case they have like random Deadly Dispute. Sure. Okay, resolves. So Soren's going to ping our face for 1. That's acceptable. We have Veto. Interesting. I think I really want to hold on to this Narset. What am I scared of them resolving otherwise? I think the answer is nothing. I'm just going to test this Duress away. They have another in hand. Nice. So that was like the nut. They have any left in their deck? No. Glad I went with Test of Talents. This does give them a card. That's kind of cute. Fateful Absence killing Soren. So let's start with this. Narset. Whiff. Alright. And on your upkeep, we'll ding Soren. This way, if they want to crack the clue, they don't get to draw this turn. And they don't get to ping the Narset with the Soren plus. Looks like our Narset is not long for this world. Wonder what they have. Alright. Yeah, I'll take an Absorb. Absorb seems good. If we power up the hall and attack, we only have 2 left over, but that's enough for a Dovin's Veto. But it does walk straight into March, so let's not do that. Maybe I'm supposed to cycle that. We do need to find some card advantage. That's card advantage. That's pretty good, too. All right. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Okay, so we managed to survive. That definitely felt like we probably should have lost. I want these disputes, I think. Now that I know that they're running their own, probably should have done that from the start. I think Farewell was probably the only board wipe that matters. And... yeah, I want all this early removal, instant speed. Maybe it's just another Teferi. Like, tapping out against them is just so dangerous. Maybe we're just supposed to basically be blue-white flash. Alright. There's no rest in peace, and there's no early removal. But the hand, I think, is a little too good to give up. Do they have Thoughtseize again? They sure do. Why wouldn't they? So even if we had kept a hand with an early removal spell, then it would have been taken away. Alright, so it looks like they might actually have the Fateful Mending. Greasefang start. If they do, there is not a damn thing we can do about it. Yep. Yeah, it looks like they just have it. Yeah. There's just not shit we can do against that. They had hand disruption into graveyard fill into Greasefang. And we're going to take 13. And I don't think there's any way out. Yeah, GG. Was close. That's just, you know, 2 games out of 3 where they just had it. And we could not possibly interact. Yep, we are dead. Anyway. I don't think we can keep a hand that's just Narset. I think that's a little ambitious. We'll send that back. I guess we have to keep this as much as I don't want to. I'll put away an island. Overgrown farmland. So I've seen some green-white humans. This is more likely just Winota. Whoa. This is like snow angels. The Vigilance lines up pretty well against the Wandering Emperor, but we do have Absorb up to deal with the first Righteous Valkyrie. Looks like the plan is to cast a 4-drop instead. Okay. So I guess we're just absorbing and then Wandering Emperor main phase to get rid of Gyata while it's tapped. That seems like the best thing to do. They don't have any snow. So they can't actually attack the Wandering Emperor. It's pretty clear they have Coco, but we do manage to draw the Dovin's Veto. Like a boss. And I suppose... there's no world where they don't... Where they hold this mana up and don't cast Dovin's Veto... Or don't cast Coco here, right? So we're never going to cast the Memory Deluge, so we should probably just buy Yorion. Indeed, they had the Coco. Book of Exalted Deeds. I see. Well, they don't have anywhere near the snow to activate the Faceless Haven yet, and we run 4 Fields of Ruin. So I am kind of okay with this. And I think I'm down to just cast the Orion here. Gets a blocker in play, we get to flicker the Wandering Emperor and get a little more value out of it. What? I didn't even hit enter that time. Like, it should just stop when the Wandering Emperor comes back into play, right? So I can minus it on my turn, which was the whole point of playing the Orion. I don't know, I'm getting kind of salty at this point. Uh-huh. I mean, obviously this wouldn't have mattered. That's pretty good. Hello, indeed. Exile, enchantments, creatures, artifacts. And I guess graveyards.
Keep watch for intruders.
Yeah, Farewell lines up pretty well with Bishop of Wings as well. Those are pretty good last 2 cards to have, though, I've got to say. So this Shark Typhoon is going to be a 5/5. Which at least boxes with the Valkyrie. And we're probably just making another Samurai saying go. They found 1 snow source. So they need 1 more snow source to be able to activate the Haven. So a block like this, and we'll just take 3. Next turn, Wandering Emperor will pump up the Shark. We find Hall. Because I don't know what land to play, I should probably just Memory Deluge main phase. I guess I'll attack first. Yeah, I think I want a Memory Deluge main phase, just to inform the decision about what land to play. Alright. Consider the decision informed. Youthful Valkyrie is fine. They have all the life in the world, but still no way through the 6/6. Let's see, you have another Coco? You don't. You have a board wipe, that's not bad. It's not the best because they have the Bishop of Wings. So we have 8 mana available. It's probably just, honestly, Slam Shark. Hold up Fateful Absence. Fateful Absence will kill the Bishop of Wings. Can also just Fateful Absence the Bishop of Wings and then depopulate, but I want to make them commit a little more to the board first. You can also just Shark, like make another 6/6 Shark. And hold up Memory Deluge. I don't know. I don't feel the need to act yet. Especially given that we have Absorb. Yeah, just say go. They need to break through the stalemate somehow. We don't need to act yet. Skyclave Apparition would hit Wandering Emperor. I think this is fine with me. Cast Memory Deluge. Okay, we find Teferi, we have Absorb, we have Wandering Emperor, lots and lots of goodies. We also have Field of Ruin if they ever manage to put the Book of Exalted Deeds combo together. I don't know, these are some pretty interesting decisions. I think I like Teferi and the Omen. Parry and Absorb also seems pretty appealing. Hmm. I'm going to take the Fairy and land. I feel like if we hit our land drops at this point, we can't lose. They're a casual 61, but, you know, I'm a control player. I don't care about their life total. Alright, we'll say go. Untap some stuff. I think this is fine. It just means that we're going to Fateful Absence the Bishop and finally cast our board wipe. Alright. Hit the bishop. That's got to be pretty frightening for the opponent. They're up at 80. We have some work to do. I don't want to swing because I don't want them to be able to throw the apparition in front of the bus. We're just going to cast Depopulate here. Right. They don't have a multicolored creature, so they don't even draw. No need to play Narset first. I guess I should have attacked with the 7/7. But frankly, the difference between them being at 80 and 71 is not, you know, large. Found the Wandering Emperor. That's pretty good. How much mana do we have? 6. That sounds like just enough to cast Omen and Wandering Emperor. We have 8, actually. Whatever. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a slog. We've only seen one fielder rune so far, too. Cathar. I think Cathar is absorb worthy. We don't have a great answer to it. I don't want to start dealing with day and night issues. Well, let's just counter that. Book of Exalted Deeds, sure. Wandering Emperor. Minus. Plus. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. There's not a whole lot to say. We're just going to march that now. Maybe it gets them to scoop. That's probably all they're thinking at this point, that they can probably lock us out somehow. Yeah, okay. I will be right back. I'm going to use the washroom while we board. Thank you, opponent, for not making me kill you from 80, though. Okay, we are back, and we are up against some weird Snow Angel deck. So, Fateful Absence. Rest in Peace doesn't seem great. Gust doesn't seem great. Test of Talents doesn't seem great. Veto is, like, fine. Settle the Wreckage seems good. How many? We are running 4 Fields of Runes, no? No, just 2. But 2 is enough. 3 cuts. Veto seems pretty bad, relatively speaking. Portable Hole hits Giada, which is like one of the most important things to deal with from them. Absorb is like a pretty good Coco answer. Maybe just trim Teferi again. I don't want to tap out too much. Gust hits Coco, I guess. But so does Veto, and I already decided Veto was bad. Okay. Alright, so this hand does not have an answer to Giada. It is quite slow. It's tough to mulligan a hand that has lands and spells on the draw, but I'm going to do it. There we go. That's better. Keep this. And it's either Absorb or Narset that we're putting back. I think given that we mulliganed, I want to keep Narset. So we have Fateful Absence for Giada and then Depopulate to clean up the board after that once we play Narset. Yeah, okay. Shaper's Sanctuary. Is that spell? That's spell or ability. That's a good one. Luckily we found Portable Hole, but we can't play it on one. So do you have Giada? You sure do. So the question is, do we allow them to get Giada in play for a turn? Or do we just give them the card? On the one hand, like letting them ramp their stuff onto the board walks them into Depopulate that much sooner. Yeah, I think I've convinced myself. Let's play this. And I'm just going to hit the Sanctuary. Yeah, that's the worst case. So, if they have Coco, then Narset is bad here. If they have anything else... We're going to play Narset. And she might die. And we're okay with that. I feel like it's Teferi. And the idea being that we can depopulate next turn, then Teferi plus the following turn with Fateful Absence backup. If they have Coco, I think we have just lost. But Giada, Valkyrie, Coco is going to be a pretty tough curve for us to beat no matter what we do. Okay. Great. So they don't have Coco, or at the very least, they're not going to cast it yet. You have a 2-drop Angel you want to play? Probably not. You would have played it first. But this is fine. Yeah, we did it. Nice. All right. So 3 and 2 with blue-white control. I feel like the first round matchup we probably could have done a little better. But the only other loss was against Greasefang. That 2 out of 3 games just had, you know, the stone cold nuts on the play. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this deck. I might give it another run, but we will claim that prize for now.